Good afternoon. This is Blip Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark. We are looking at the Tulip Racing Porsche, currently driven by Danny Hoekstra, getting ready for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. We're going to be partially broadcasting little bits of this race. Not exactly sure what exact times. You'll have to check on the channel. We're going to stay around now to finish up qualifying and to start the race. Danny Hoekstra will be starting the race. We have a four-driver team on this car. The second driver is Danny's dad, Bert Hoekstra. And then we have Alexander Davidson and Dave Guild, who will be alternating rides throughout the race. This is literally a 24-hour around-the-clock event. So there is no stopping, there are no breaks. These guys are going to have to be keeping this car on the track for a full 24 hours straight. They're going to be doing 2 stints each to start with. During the night, we may see some of the drivers run triple stints. And what do we mean by a stint? Well, one stint is basically a full tank of fuel, driving it until they need to refuel again, which will be probably a little bit under an hour. So every driver will be driving somewhat under 2 hours at the time when they do a double stint. Now, obviously, in the simulation, the tires will be wearing. So the drivers will have to manage the tires. During the pit stops, fuel and tires cannot be done at the same time. So if the driver needs fuel only, he can make a much quicker pit stop than he can if he takes fuel plus tires, because the tires won't be changed until the fueling is done. So what the drivers will be trying to do is to save their tires in the first stint. So when they fill up their tanks after the first stint, they should be able to make a quicker pit stop, fuel only, and run 2 stints on the tires. Now, this is going to be a little bit depending on the ambient temperature and the track temperature. If the track temperature is high, extremely high, then obviously the tires are going to wear a lot quicker, which means that it might be possible during the daytime when the sun is shining that the tires won't last enough in one stint, so they might have to change them again every stint. Now, during the night, obviously it's going to cool down significantly, so the drivers are hoping to be able to do 3 stints on a set of tires during the night. So how this all is going to play out, we're going to have to wait and see. So there's an enormous amount of drivers on iRacing that are trying their luck in this 24-hour racing business, and that means that iRacing has split them up in groups of, if I see correctly, there's like 55 teams in each group. And they are matched up by what we call their I rating, which is the score they have built up throughout their iRacing career. So you will see drivers in this race that are fairly that are matched up fairly evenly. Their car number has been determined on the average I rating of the first 2 drivers logging in. So Tulip Racing has number 10, which means that the first 2 drivers logging in on Tulip Racing determined their starting number 10, which means that they're in the top quart of the field. That obviously can be manipulated a little bit. If you have your lowest I rating drivers log in first, you might get a lower number. If you have your highest I rating drivers log in first, you get a higher number. But anyway, that's all technicalities. Basically, we can say that the Tulip Racing team is matched up with drivers of similar I rating. The average strength of field is 1800, which is pretty much where the Tulip Racing drivers all are at. They're all in that region of I rating. So this should be an evenly matched up race. Now, in the higher splits with the better drivers, Le Mans is famous for being a multi-class race, famous for the what they call the LMP1, LMP2 classes, the very fast prototype-looking cars. Now we are in a split where there are no LMP1 cars. Everything in this field is a GTE class car. We have Porsches like the Tulip Racing are driving. We have Ferraris. We have Ford GTs. We have BMWs. So there's a wide variety of cars on the track, and see if we can currently find any of them. You'll have to bear with me here a little bit. The connection is on an event like this. Everything's overloaded. There's an enormous amount of drivers logged in at the same time, so it might be a little bit stuttery and hiccup. Give us a couple of hiccups now and again. That's the iRacing part, and if I could help it, trust me, I would. So here you have one of the Ferraris, the number 14, the Virgil Racing Team Gold, with Stefano Bianchet at the wheel at this point. And let's see if we can find some other cars. There's another Porsche. The Le Mans track is a 13-kilometer track. It's very long. So when a driver starts their qualifying lap, they're not starting from the pits. They're starting from this point here at the track to save a little bit of time for the drivers to get a qualifying lap in. So that's the reason you see this car standing there. Here's another Porsche. There's another Ferrari. There's one of your Ford GTs, the 9 Shiza Autosport Red, being driven currently by J.D. Callahan, the number 86 Ford GT car. And here's another Porsche for Australia Wide Racing. That's awesome to see. We have an international field here. And the qualifying order here will determine the start of the race. It'll be a rolling start behind the pace car, and as I said, we're going to be joining the Tulip Racing team drivers for the start, and we'll see how Danny gets going in this race. And get things underway. And after 2 stints, I believe it's going to be it'll be Dave Gilt taking over for the second stint. And we'll be checking in with them during the 24 hours regularly. So if you can't watch it live, you'll see some videos. We'll probably come and check back, and make something like 15-minute broadcasts or videos to see the progress of Tulip Racing drivers. And here we see the drivers are currently qualifying individually, so they don't see each other on the track. So basically, they get to qualify individually, do 2 laps, and the best lap time counts. So currently, we have on pole position, we have the number 27 car of the Project Racing team. The time was set by Daniel Benefield, and it was a time of 3 minutes 48 seconds, 434 thousandths of a second. So that is I can tell you that is a horribly fast lap. So this field has some quick drivers in it. Danny Hoekstra has posted a 3:51.528. And let me see if I can pull up the fastest laps real quickly here for you, so you can see what we're up against. And everything's working somewhat slow at this point. As I said, the system is somewhat overloaded at the moment. Let's see if we can pull up fastest lap here. Fastest lap time. There we go. You should be seeing some fastest laps on the left of your screen. If we can pull these guys up again. There we go. You can see the Tulip Racing team is currently qualified on the 23rd spot with a lap time of 3:51.527, and you can tell that the drivers around him are pretty much in a similar fashion, and we have some very fast guys at the front. Like I said, the pole position 3:48.4. Then there's probably about 6 drivers that got their times below the 3:50 mark. I mean, obviously, these are qualifying times. They run on very low fuel tanks. They may have even used a different setup than they would in the race to get themselves up at the front. Now, a 24-hour race with a class like this, being only one class, the GTE cars, we're going to see a pretty evenly matched field, and it's going to take a little bit for the field to stretch out on the track here, and it might be a little tricky for the drivers because when they're packed up, it's very easy to fall victim to mistakes anybody else makes, or even making mistakes yourself. So let's see if we can find anybody on the track currently. The Virgil Racing Team Diamond with Corentin Esman is in 11th position. It looks like he's getting ready to get started on a final qualifying attempt. And currently nobody driving at this point. There's only a few seconds left in qualifying, so that explains that, obviously. So we're getting ready to get going. The start will be in a few seconds. We'll be looking at the drivers lining up, and they will have about 2 minutes to line themselves up. Let's see if there we go. They're on one of the straights. This is not the fastest part of the track. This is coming towards the stadium where the grandstands are. And cars are lining up, double file. They will be behind a pace car, and the pace car will set the pace, obviously, for the first part of that lap. The pace car will pull into the pits, and then they'll get the green light, and they'll be racing. So let's see if we can find the Tulip Racing car here real quickly, if he is already gridded up. Can't find him. Okay, there he is. You can see in the middle of your screen an orange and black Porsche with a blue rear wing. He's behind a yellow, red, and black Porsche, and he's in front of a red Ferrari there. Right above that blinking car, and so he's in the tail end of the field at this point, in 23rd position, and we're waiting for all the drivers to grid up, and it looks like we're still awaiting quite a few of them. Danny Hoekstra at the wheel. He will be starting the first stint in this race, and you can imagine this is an exciting thing for the whole team. It's a 24-hour thing, so they're going to be fighting fatigue. They're going to be endurance is the correct word here. You know, if any sleep will be gotten for each of them, that'll be great, but it won't be more than a few hours each, because they're rotating in a schedule that is pretty brutal, and they'll have to make it last for 24 hours. So here we go. We are rolling. Now we're going to follow the Tulip Racing car of Danny Hoekstra here. and see how he does during the start. You'll see the cars wiggling left and right a little bit to try and get some heat in the tires. Danny is probably intending to take it fairly slow here on the start. You might see some cars pop in and out, and that's because iRacing is pretty overloaded at this point, and the computer just can't draw all the cars at the same time. So we have 55 cars in this race, and unfortunately they can't be drawn all at the same time. So let's stick here with Danny. We are in the Porsche S's coming towards the start finish. There will be 2 chicanes following shortly here. You'll see on the right side. Well, we're still in the Porsche S's. I apologize. And let's see if we can get on board here with Danny. This is the roll bar cam. There you go. We're straight ahead. You'll see that sign here on the right side, and slightly right and left, and then we'll come up to the pit entry. There you see the pit buildings in the distance. The pit entry will be on the right side over here by that sign here on your right side. That's the pit entry. We're going to be going through a short chicane and then another short chicane, and then we'll be looking at the start of the race.
Green flag.
The green flag's been given. So here we go. The 24 hours for Tulip Racing team has been started. Danny has a little bit of trouble trying to stay out of trouble there. Takes the curbs. And we are on our way for 24 hours of endurance racing, GTE cars only. So let's stick here with Danny for a little bit. Come into the Dunlop S's, a tight little left and right combination down to second gear. Looks like he's fairly clear. One driver already off the track there. I can see in the scoring, you can see names jumping up and down, which means people are being passed and getting into trouble already. And Danny's coming through the first part of the lap here good. No trouble in front, no trouble behind. So let's see if we can keep it this way. And then here you see Danny coming up on the Mulsanne straight, a very, very long straightaway that brings these drivers to top speed, which is about 280 kilometers an hour. Long stretch of cars. Look at that long stretch of cars. There's 2 chicanes built in the Mulsanne straight. It used to be a 7-kilometer long straight. They've shortened that with 2 chicanes. Here you have the first one, right, left, and right. Then the second one will be the other way around, left, right, left. Danny letting go of an ambitious white Porsche there, trying to fight for position. And the tactics for the Tulip Racing teams will be that, you know, there is absolutely no point in trying to fight for position in the first lap. We have 24 hours to go, and we will see a lot of drivers being hindered by fatigue and being taken out or dropped out. And so it's a long race. It's about survival. It's about keeping the car clean and getting no damage. Danny currently running in 22nd position. Oh, look at that beautiful long string of cars coming up to the Mulsanne corner. Ooh, there's a Ferrari behind him. Mulsanne corner down to second or first gear, depending on the driver. The Ferrari being spun around already there, right behind Danny Hoekstra in the first lap. Haven't even done a full lap yet, and there's drivers in trouble already. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. This is all about survival. You know, normal races of 45 to 50 minutes are all about being fast every lap and proving yourself. And this is all about pacing yourself. You're keeping your machinery in one piece, keeping yourself awake and alert. And this is a totally different animal from any other form of sprint racing that we see. Danny doing a good job here, first lap, sticking with the cars in front of him. He's got a fairly safe gap behind him. He is currently shown in the 21st spot. The reason that you see that spot blinking up and down a few spots because without him being passed can be that some drivers have some connection issues. If their connection drops out for just a fraction of a moment, then the scoring doesn't see them either. So that's the reason you see them blinking a little bit. And as I said, the iRacing servers for an event like this are overloaded, so stuff like that will be a factor in this race. So we're coming up back on the pit complex, the grandstands. There you see the pit entry. Danny's coming back to round up his first lap here. The fastest guys up front look like they are running a 4-minute lap, which is obvious because we just getting started. And let's see what Danny has put down on the first lap. It's a 4:14.4. So yeah, he's being careful in the pack there. It looks like we're still in 23rd position, so nothing gained, nothing lost. That's okay. As I said, it is a very, very long race, and it's going to be all about survival. It's going to be all about pacing. It's going to be about staying out of trouble. Let the other guys get in trouble. Look at that, picking up 2 positions because drivers are already getting in trouble. You can see a BMW right behind Danny there that has already got damage on the nose, and we're not even 2 laps into this race. A little stutter here from iRacing. Oh, it's a big group of cars, so it'll be up to Danny now, especially to stay out of trouble. It looks like there was some incident in front of him that kind of bunched everybody back up. And going down the main straightaway here, coming up to the first chicane. You see one driver in the back there was on the brakes very, very early, and Ferrari's in front and behind. And the yellow car looking to be fairly ambitious here to try and get past Danny Hoekstra. And currently shown in 18th position. So we picked up a couple of positions there in that first part of the second lap. Yellow Ferrari right on his tail here, going to the inside, and Danny is very likely just to let him go if he gets too close. There's like I said, there's just no point, and it's all about keeping this thing in one piece. There he gives him the line. He's not slowing down for him, but he's giving him the line, letting him know, guys, if you want it, you can go and get it. It's all good. We are 23 hours and 55 minutes away from the end of this thing, and you don't win it on lap 1. You win it at the end of the race, obviously. So the yellow Ferrari looks again on the inside. Oh my gosh! And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Oh my God. The Tulip Racing machine, oh my God, rolling over. That is so unnecessary. That is so unnecessary. Let's take a look here in the replay. And this is so unfortunate. Danny is trying to move away to let the green Porsche by. The yellow Porsche was right on his right side there. Cars turning over. Oh my goodness. And let's see again. The exit from the Mulsanne corner. Danny going to the right a little bit, unaware of the Ferrari, and then all 3 cars touching each other. Let's hope that Danny can baby it back to the pit lane. There he is. It's going to be a lot of repairs, obviously, and we'll have to wait and see if they can get it going again. Let's see if we can pull anybody up from the team, and see if we can talk to them real quickly. Hold on, give me just a second. Hey Dave, this is
Yo.
Mark. This is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me? I pulled you out of the team there. Do you have any idea what happened, my friend?
Nah, nothing at the moment. Just watching on the replay. It just looks like Danny must have got on the curb and I don't know. Just mate, he's at the side of him and he's just lost it a little bit or something.
Yeah,
or he's just not known he was there and just drifted over.
it looked to me like they were coming off Mulsanne corner, and Danny was slowly pulling the car to the right, I believe, to let a green Porsche by, and then it turned out that the yellow Ferrari already had his nose next to Danny, so it turned him around and put him nose first into the rail. Have you heard anything about damage and repairs and stuff like that?
No, I was just about to jump on the radio before you come over, but
All right.
it's just one of those things.
All right, I'll move you back in there, and I'll check back with you here in a few minutes then.
Okay, mate, cheers.
So that was Dave, the guy that'll take over if we can get going again. And you can tell we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars right here in one shot in the pit lane. Very, very unfortunate. The 6 cars already with a lot of damage. Now, iRacing calculates the damage repair time by what is broken and what is wrong with the car. But most damage can be repaired, but unfortunately not all of it. So it's very well possible that, if you like bent suspension parts or stuff like that, that you'll be facing a 24-hour race with a bent steering system and a wheel that's not straight when you're supposed to be going straight. There's the yellow Porsche that was involved. He's coming into the pits. He's got damage on the front end. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see if we can find out if there's anything news on the team. Let's hope they can get this party going again. This is very, very unfortunate. This is exactly what you did not want to see happen. So for the mean thing, looks like we're having a little bit of connection issues at this point. So let's see if we can find somebody else here. The leaders of the race. The leaders of the race are the Project Racing team, currently driven by Daniel Benefield. He's in this number 27 Ferrari, and he is currently coming at the Indianapolis corner. The next one up is the corner called Indianapolis. He's passing a white Porsche there that's already shown damage in the rear end as well, and unfortunately, a lot of drivers, it's the first part of the race is the toughest part to get through, for sure. So the Tulip Racing car, he's still in the pits. He's shown in 48th position at this point. Let's take a quick look if we can find some other drivers here. The number 4, the 4th position car, I should say, of BRM Racing, driven by James Acklam. And the second place car, the 43 of DT3 Racing Esport, driven by Loic Munier. I hope I pronounced that right. And he is currently being shown about 5 seconds behind the leader. So, Project Racing teamed car. And actually, I didn't have him earlier. That white Ferrari was not the correct one. I apologize for that. This is the number 27 leading team, the Project Racing team car, driven by Daniel Benefield, another Porsche RSR, and he is a little bit over 5 seconds clear of the second place car. So let's go and check back with Tulip Racing, and they're still here, and let's see if we can pull up somebody, or I can listen in here with the team.
AJ, the way you go across, like everything's just perfect for that crash to happen.
Yeah.
So guys, this is Mark. We're still live on the air. Danny, can you talk us through what happened from your point of view?
Yeah, I can. There was a car on the inside, on the right-hander, and I knew that he was there, and I didn't want to take any risk, so I gave him all the room and went like as far outside as I could possibly go. And then it gave me a slowdown penalty of like 1.5 seconds for that. I don't know why. And once we got through the corner, I thought I might as well go off the racing line to collect the slowdown penalty and get rid of that. but the relative is quite off, so I didn't know he was on the inside of me. So yeah, that made us collide.
All right, all right. I hear you. I understand what's happening now. For the viewers, really quickly, the slowdown penalty is being issued when the car is off the racing track too far. It depends a little bit on the spot on the track, but obviously, iRacing thought you were offline too far. I didn't really see that, but yeah, I saw you slowly moving over to the right, not being aware of that yellow Ferrari being there, and then all hell broke loose. So, what's the situation in the pits, guys? Are we being repaired? Are we still in the race? What's going on?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we are still in the race. We have a huge setback, but the required repairs are 29 minutes now, and the optional repairs are another 5 minutes. So we just sit that out. I will get on track after that again, and we just keep going until the car is too damaged to go on.
All right, that's the way we like to hear it. So we're looking at about a half hour of lost time in this race. So it'll be a matter of just hoping that the car is drivable after that, and continue on from there.
Exactly.
All right, thank you guys. I wish you the best of luck. I'll leave you to it for now, and we'll take a lot of we'll see a few images from the race. Then I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
See you, man.
All right, so we're back up live here. Let's go up at the front of the field. At this point, we still have that 27 Porsche of Project Racing Team, driven by Daniel Benefield. He looks to be about 5 seconds clear of the DT3 Racing Esport Red, and you can see him coming in the picture at the top of your screen there, driven by Loic Munier. I hope I pronounced that right. It sounds like a French name to me. Daniel Benefield jumping over the curb there. At the front of the field, no big issues for them. You heard Danny talk about what happened. We saw it. He was being given a slowdown penalty. As said, iRacing issues slowdown penalties on this track more so than just points, because of the fact that it's an endurance race. So basically, the computer, the server, the iRacing server, determines if you are off the track at a certain point too far, then it issues a slowdown penalty equivalent of the time the server thinks that you would have gained. Well, the point where Danny supposedly went off too far is not a spot where you can easily collect one of those, so the computer may have been a little bit off. Like I said, it's a very crowded race. It's the servers are we're having trouble getting us all logged in at the start of the race. So I would not be surprised if the slowdown penalty was a little bit iRacing server thinking it saw something that it really wasn't seeing. And then you heard Danny talk about the spotter being a little bit slow. The what they call the relative screen. The drivers can see in a black box screen the relative distance from the guys in front and behind them. They also have a virtual spotter, which is basically the computer telling him if a driver is alongside or not. And obviously, all that stuff may have been on a slight delay, and not being able to inform Danny that the yellow car was already there. He was trying to move off the racing line to serve his slowdown penalty, and unaware of the yellow car being there. And it unfortunately it's one of those points where if you do have a touch with another car and there's not much runoff area there, he nosed it right into the guardrail. This is the turn we're talking about, coming off of this turn. So if you get all four wheels over that curb on the left there, then I guess you get a slowdown penalty. And as you can tell, the guardrails are left and right next to the track, and no runoff area for Danny. Very unfortunate. He rolled the car a couple times. You heard him explain it. We have about a half hour of repairs that we're looking at. So we'll be dropping to the tail end of the field. Tulip Racing will have a hill to climb to finish this race. It's very unfortunate, but it's just one of those things that can happen. And we're going to have to deal with it. The guys are still in good spirits. We're going to try and finish this race. That was the goal for Tulip Racing. It's the first time that the Tulip Racing endurance class is entering a 24-hour event. So the biggest thing for those guys is to finish the race. Obviously, other teams will have similar problems during the race. Fatigue will become a factor for many of them. So there is still hope that they can turn this thing around and make it work for them. So we're looking at the leader currently. He is, let me see, he's on his 5th lap. And it's a Project Racing team currently driven by Daniel Benefield, the number 27 Porsche. You can see the second place Porsche coming up in the background there, about 4.2 seconds behind. And we're gonna round up this first little broadcast. We're gonna allow the Tulip Racing guys to get stuff back on track. Like I said, it'll be probably another 20 to 25 minutes before they can get going again. We'll go and take a quick look at the car. Unfortunate turn of events for these guys. They've dropped down to 50th place of 55 drivers. Currently, the green car that was involved in the incident is there. It looks like the yellow Ferrari that was involved in the incident is back on the road again. So again, 6 cars here with similar problems, long repair times. I would not be surprised if a half-hour repairs is going to put the Tulip Racing team to the final spot. But that's just the way it is. We're going to have to deal with it. And again, very unfortunate. That was what we were trying to avoid, but we got caught out. And it is what it is, guys. So I wish them all the best of luck. We'll check back in with them in a couple of hours or so and give you an update on how it's going. And at this point, I would say in about probably about 2 hours or so, I will come back live and give you an update on how Tulip Racing is going from this unfortunate start of the race. My name is Mark. This is Blip Shift Broadcasting. You are watching the Tulip Racing endurance class going to the 24-hour of Le Mans. We had an unfortunate start. We are going to check with them in about 2 hours or so. So we hope to see you then. Thank you.